Welcome to Constant TV, where legitimacy and consistency rule. In today's video, we are going to bring to you the history of Kingdom of Egypt. If this is your first time, please endeavor to subscribe, like, comment and share our channel. Thank you. Now the story begins. The history of the Kingdom of Egypt is a vast and complex subject that spans millennia. The Kingdom of Egypt, often referred to in its various periods as Ancient Egypt, can be broadly divided into several major eras: the Early Dynastic Period, the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, the New Kingdom, and the Late Period, including the Ptolemaic Dynasty and the Roman and Byzantine periods. Here's an extensive overview. Early Dynastic Period, circa 3100 to 2686 BCE. Unification of Egypt. The Early Dynastic Period marks the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under the rule of the first pharaoh, Nama, or Mens. This era established the foundation of Egyptian civilization, including the development of writing, the establishment of a centralized government, and the construction of significant architectural structures. Development of hieroglyphics. During this period, the Egyptian writing system, hieroglyphics, evolved, allowing for the recording of historical events, administrative details, and religious texts. This script played a crucial role in the administration of the state and in the transmission of culture and religion. Old Kingdom, circa 2686 to 2181 BCE. Pyramid building era. The Old Kingdom is often referred to as the Age of the Pyramids, as it saw the construction of the most famous pyramids, including the Step Pyramid of Djoser and the Great Pyramid of Giza. The latter was built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, Cheops, and remains one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Centralized power and administration. The Old Kingdom was characterized by a strong centralized state, with the pharaoh considered a god-king. The administration was highly organized, with a bureaucracy that managed agriculture, labor, and resources. The vizier was the highest official under the pharaoh, overseeing various aspects of governance. Decline of the Old Kingdom. The decline of the Old Kingdom was marked by internal strife, a weakening of central authority, and possibly climatic changes that affected agriculture. This period ended with a phase known as the First Intermediate Period, characterized by political fragmentation and chaos. First Intermediate Period, circa 2181 to 2055 BCE. Political fragmentation and strife. During the First Intermediate Period, the central authority of the pharaohs collapsed, leading to the rise of local rulers who controlled various regions independently. This period saw a decline in monumental building and a fragmentation of power. Literary and cultural developments. Despite the political turmoil, this era witnessed significant literary developments, with texts like the Instructions of Amenemhat and The Story of Sinew, reflecting the social and political concerns of the time. Middle Kingdom, circa 2055 to 1650 BCE. Reunification and stability. The Middle Kingdom began with the reunification of Egypt under Pharaoh Mentuhotep II, who established the 11th dynasty. This period is marked by a resurgence in art, literature, and monumental building, as well as a more centralized and stable government. Expansion and trade. The Middle Kingdom pharaohs expanded Egypt's borders through military campaigns and established trade relations with neighboring regions, including Nubia, the Levant, and the Aegean. Literary and artistic flourishing. The Middle Kingdom is often considered a classical period in Egyptian literature and art. Literary works such as The Tale of the Shipwrecked Sailor and The Eloquent Peasant were composed, and art and architecture from this period show a high degree of sophistication and refinement. Second Intermediate Period, circa 1650 to 1550 BCE. Hyksos invasion and rule. The Second Intermediate Period was marked by the invasion and rule of the Hyksos, a Semitic people from the Levant who established their capital at Avaris in the Nile Delta. The Hyksos introduced new technologies, such as the horse-drawn chariot and advanced weaponry, which influenced Egyptian military practices. Native Egyptian resistance. Despite the Hyksos' rule, native Egyptian rulers in Thebes began to resist and eventually succeeded in expelling the Hyksos, leading to the establishment of the New Kingdom. New Kingdom, circa 1550 to 1070 BCE. Empire building and military expansion. The New Kingdom is often considered the height of Egyptian power and glory. Pharaohs such as Ahmose I, Thutmose III, and Ramses II led military campaigns that expanded Egypt's influence and territory, making it an empire that extended into Nubia and the Levant. Construction of temples and monuments. This period saw the construction of some of Egypt's most famous temples and monuments, including the temples at Karnak and Luxor, the mortuary temple of Hatshepsut, and the massive statues of Ramses II at Abu Simbel. Religious and cultural developments. The New Kingdom was also a period of significant religious and cultural developments. The pharaoh Akhenaten attempted to establish a monotheistic worship of the sun god Aten, which led to the Amarna period, a unique artistic and cultural phase. However, this monotheistic experiment was short-lived, and traditional polytheism was restored under his successor, Tutankhamun. Decline of the New Kingdom. The decline of the New Kingdom was marked by internal strife, economic difficulties, and external invasions. The power of the pharaohs waned, leading to the Third Intermediate Period, characterized by fragmentation and foreign rule. Third Intermediate Period, c. 1070 to 664 BCE. Political fragmentation and foreign influence. The Third Intermediate Period saw the fragmentation of Egypt into smaller, competing states. The Libyans and Nubians established their own dynasties, and Egypt experienced significant foreign influence and invasions. Cultural continuity and change. Despite the political instability, Egyptian culture and religion continued to flourish. The period saw a continuation of traditional art and religious practices, as well as the introduction of new cultural elements from the foreign rulers. Late period, c. 664 to 332 BCE. Restoration and revival. The late period began with the reunification of Egypt under the 26th dynasty, also known as the Saite dynasty. This period saw a revival of traditional Egyptian culture, art, and architecture, as well as efforts to restore Egypt's political and military power. Persian conquest and rule. In 525 BCE, Egypt was conquered by the Persian Empire and became a satrapy. Persian rule was marked by periods of rebellion and attempts at restoration of native rule. Alexander the Great and the end of the late period. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, ending the late period and beginning the Hellenistic period under the Ptolemaic Dynasty. Ptolemaic Dynasty, c. 332 to 30 BCE. Hellenistic influence and cultural synthesis. The Ptolemaic dynasty, founded by Ptolemy Isota, the general of Alexander the Great, saw the fusion of Greek and Egyptian cultures. The Ptolemies adopted many aspects of Egyptian religion and culture, while also introducing Hellenistic elements. Construction of Alexandria. The city of Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great, became a major center of learning and culture, home to the famous Library of Alexandria and the Lighthouse of Alexandria, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Cleopatra VII and the Roman conquest. The reign of Cleopatra VII, the last Ptolemaic ruler, was marked by political alliances and conflicts with Rome. Cleopatra's relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony and her subsequent defeat by Octavian, later Augustus, led to the incorporation of Egypt into the Roman Empire in 30 BCE.